Hey guys, Kyle Madson, Top Stories, Sports 1140. The Raiders lost to the Chiefs yesterday 40-30. The 49ers lost to the Seahawks 43-16. That leaves those two as the only two-win teams in the NFL. If the season ended today, the 49ers would hold the number one pick because of their strength of schedule tiebreaker. They're the only two-win teams left because the Cardinals beat the Packers 20-17 at Lambeau Field. That led to the firing of head coach Mike McCarthy, who had been with the Packers for 13 years. McCarthy went 125-77-2 in his 13 seasons in Green Bay with a Super Bowl victory under his belt. Joe Philbin has been named the interim head coach for the Packers. It's 8:02. Peak Financial wants to talk retirement. Dial pound 250 and say the word money. Those are your top stories. Now it's time for the third hour of the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning, morning, morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
This Monday's flown by. Our thanks to Dante Stallworth, as always, for joining us on the Firewings hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com, just wing it. Heavy topic with Dante. But I think, and I want to get past this. I don't want to segue from super serious to Jason March and the Kings. I don't want to put him in that spot. But listen, all over sports radio today, there's going to be just a lot of discussion about Kareem Hunt, and there should be. I could think of very few people better to talk about it, and to talk about not obviously domestic violence specifically, but NFL players being in serious trouble and putting themselves in serious trouble and how to handle it from there than Dante Stallworth. A couple stories we're following as Kyle gets our good friend Jason March on the line. Ron Rivera of the Carolina Panthers is going to take over the defensive play calling as D-line coach Brady Hoke, along with another coach, have been relieved of duties after their 24-17 setback to Tampa Bay. And Kyle, you brought up something that was a very good point earlier. I'll let you share it with the audience here.
I don't even think Brady Hoke knew Brady Hoke was employed by the Panthers.
You and I
saw that and normally because I get Adam Schefter tweets to my phone, I looked down and was like, oh, Panthers D-line coach Brady Hoke fired. Like, what? Wait. Former Michigan head coach Brady Hoke?
Yeah.
Is a defensive line coach in Carolina?
You and I both have friends that are Michigan guys. And so I knew of Brady Hoke as well. And I had no idea he was back in the NFL. I had no idea he was in the NFL. I thought he was just on Brady Hoke Island drinking Mai Tais. Hey, some guy keeps texting in, are you getting the Chiefs and Raiders score wrong in your updates? He keeps texting. He's like, come on, Kyle. It's 40-33. I mean, like, the Chiefs won, right? I didn't notice it, but then again, I'm not paying attention. Leave Kyle alone, okay? He's got a lot of stuff to do. He's doing updates. He's running the board. He's getting Jason March on the phone. He got Dante on the phone. Speaking of local Dantes, by the way, another Dante Green, says he will be back in town here shortly. I think we're going to get him to a Kings game.
Have I ever told you my Dante Green story?
No.
Remember to tell you my Dante Green story later.
Hey, why don't you tell me your Dante Green story? But first I want to hear the Jason March story as he joins us right now. Assistant coach for your Sacramento Kings. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Good morning. I am doing well. How about you guys?
Good. I just want to say a special thank you since apparently you had become the official assistant coach of the Lowdown noon to 3 with Damien and Jason. I appreciate you going out of your comfort zone to come on with us for once. It's nice of you.
How did I know that was going to come up? No, it's good. I can cheat on you from time to time.
Hey, and by the way, Kyle, how angry would everybody be if I did what I want to do and spent the next 20 minutes on the phone with Jason March and simply talked the entire time about the Florida State women's soccer team winning the national championship over North Carolina yesterday? How about that, Jason?
Those girls can play, man. They're good. They've been good for a long time. It was cool I watched a little bit of it, but obviously followed it on social media. It's pretty cool of them.
Just so everybody understands, Jason March, Florida State guy. So that's how Jason and I bonded, Kyle.
Okay, but let's steer this back in the proper direction. How did you like what the Seminoles did in the attacking third through the second half of that national championship game? I thought they did a great job in that.
I thought the midfielders won it for them. I mean, they were incredible.
Could not agree more.
Jason,
thank goodness for women's sports right now at Florida State. The men's, besides basketball, I guess basketball is pretty good, but the women's sports at Florida State are rolling. That's for sure.
Yeah, since you and I are both experiencing the first under 500 football season in our lifetimes, Jay. How about that? Since we've been alive, we've never seen a Florida State football team be under 500. But hey, at least we hired a coach coming in that was under 500 for his career. So I guess everything's going to be okay.
Man, I'm a little different on the coach than you are.
I would imagine. I would think you probably have a little bit more sympathy, and by the way, a little bit more intelligent insight. I'm just dumb fan that's like, oh, come on, we're under 500.
No, I mean, no insight or anything. I just see, the recruiting that he's done so far from what I've read and seen, and it seems like kids are pretty excited to play for him. So see what happens. Tough first year, but we'll see what happens. I think he's going to be all right.
Speaking of kids being excited to play for a coach, perfect segue into this Kings season so far. Jason, it is your job, along with Coach Yeager and the rest of what I believe is an amazing coaching staff, it is your job to be positive, to get these guys to win, to do everything you can to get them over the hump. But if it was just you and me throwing back a root beer before the season, did you see 11-11 coming in December?
You know what? I knew that we were going to compete. I knew guys were going to play hard. Discussions with Coach through the summer, and I knew he wanted to up our pace quite a bit. So I knew we were going to be exciting, and I think if you can get guys to buy into that, which obviously he has, if you can get guys to buy in and play that way, you are going to win. You're going to win some games. Now, what your question is how quick will they come together? There's some new pieces and that kind of stuff. So I don't think anybody could say, we knew that they were just the chemistry was going to be good. Everything, guys were going to come together. Well, we knew guys would compete. That's the kind of guys that we have on the team. And I knew Coach was going to push them to play the right way and get up and down the floor and all that good stuff. So I wouldn't say I really, and I honestly mean this, I wouldn't say that we're all surprised by the start, but you never know. It's a tough conference, tough league, and you never know what's going to happen. But just to see them come out, they bought in from training camp, and Coach making them get up and down the floor like crazy and hollering at them. They bought in, and you're starting to see the benefits in that as we go forward.
Kings assistant coach Jason March with us. And Jason, a cynic would say, all right, so these guys are running a lot of veteran teams out of the gym. Then these teams get in NBA shape. They start to scheme against Fox and other guys, look at film, blah, blah, blah. And Jason, maybe some of that's even true, but can we also expect in a good situation that because this team is so young, aren't they also going to develop throughout the year, learn things throughout the year, and as the year goes on and people scheme for them, well, they're also going to come up with some new tricks in the bag as well, I would think.
Absolutely. That's a good point, good question. You see you guys, as we played, we've seen teams scheme against us. Exactly what you say. I mean, the scouting report gets out. Every team knows what they're doing. Every team follows and watches games and sees what's going to happen. But as the guys get more comfortable with their game and how they play, you start to see them understand what teams are trying to do to them and what hurts us as a group, what hurts them individually, and what teams are taking away. We played Utah a few nights ago. Coach made the point. I mean, everyone forever has gone under on Ricky Rubio. Well, he's figured it out pretty well. He knows how to play that. And you're starting to see De'Aaron, Willie, how people are playing Willie, and all these guys. They start figuring things out. And like I said, the chemistry pays off when those situations happen because guys you're starting relying on your teammates and you're playing together. and like I said, playing the right way, all that stuff pays off for you.
Jason March joining us right now on The Drive. So you go out on the road, and obviously you look at the numbers, it's pretty simple to see teams play better at home generally than they do on the road. And I don't want to get into the off-court stuff, but when you go out on the road, especially this part of the season, there's some positives, aren't there, Jason? The bonding, the being away from, even though you don't want to be away from families, but isn't there something that can be positive, especially for a young team when you're going through a decently sized road trip?
Yes, there definitely is. Sometimes it's good just to get away. We're all together, and you don't hear the outside. It's just us, and we get in. Your practices are in a smaller area where we have this beautiful arena, and it's big and kind of scattered out from time to time. You're in a small spot. The visiting teams don't give you full access to their whole everything they have. So it's a tighter quarters, and it's easier to get your hands on guys. Hey, let's sit down, let's do this. If it's just catching breakfast together or whatever, you get to spend a little bit more time. Not that we don't get to spend time with each other, that's for sure, but you get to spend more time with each other and just sit down and have little conversations. And sometimes it's not always about basketball. Sometimes it's how's your family, what's going on? We've been home for a little while. Anything change? Everything good? That kind of stuff. So it's little things. It's what's made us a very tight group. Because we started off, we were on the road a little bit. So it's helped us, and I think, I'm hoping, obviously, we have a great trip here going forward. It's going to be a long one, so we need to make the best of it.
Jason March with us. And, Jason, one great thing about talking to a player or a coach is, you can have all kinds of speculation on stuff, but to be able to talk to somebody who's actually in the locker room. And I want to ask you about specific guys. Harry Giles to start, who is a fan favorite, a guy with all the potential in the world that we heard about last year. He almost became, like a legend, something that didn't exist. And he struggled early on, and I think that was expected by most. But Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. In limited minutes lately, he seems to be doing the most with what he's given, and it ain't perfect. But are you starting to see some of those corners get turned and that stat sheet get filled in a way that I'm sure doesn't surprise you guys that much?
Yeah, I mean, we got to watch Harry practice last year more than what people know, and so nothing that he has done on the court has really surprised anyone. He can play. It's just the speed. It's just learning, the game. Just like what you said in the previous question, what teams are going to take away from him and that kind of stuff. I think when he went down to Stockton, he got a little confidence and came back and showed it on the floor. I think Harry would be the first one to say, he's got a long way to go, just like we do as a group. So he knows he's got to keep working, and he will. He works hard, and he's trying to get better, and we love what we're seeing. He's a great young man. Easy to talk to, he's very lovable. So he's going to go a long way, and I'm excited I know we are as a staff to be a part of it and see him grow.
And then, of course, De'Aaron Fox, you want to talk about growth. Rarely does a second-year player even get mentioned in the most improved player category, but here we are, and he's right up there in every single list. Again, I imagine as coaches, you stay in touch somewhat with players in the offseason. You're aware of what they're doing. I won't ask you if you expected this, but I would imagine, as somebody who's worked with him from day one, it's very gratifying to see him start to grasp his potential.
Absolutely. You love it. Everyone, I think everyone saw what the potential was last year. It was just a matter of putting it together and developing, and we work a lot and just, with everyone, not just De'Aaron, but you're seeing the development start to take place. I felt like last year, everybody just wanted it to happen, right now at the snap of a finger, like flipping on a switch. It takes, De'Aaron showing more this year. Some guys it takes longer, and that's just how it is. You can't rush it. All you can do is continue to put your head down and work, and that's what Coach has given the directive, hey, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to keep working with these guys. We're going to continue to see improvement, and like I said, it's a buy-in thing. The players believe in what we're doing, and they're putting the work in. So you see the you see the product come out on the floor from their development and how hard they're working, and De'Aaron's been a great example of that.
And then as we move on the roster, because I do enjoy asking about these guys, Iman Shumpert was a throwaway in that George Hill deal, a guy that we weren't even sure would ever play for the Kings. A lot of people last year speculating he'd be gone in the summer. And then when we saw him at the beginning of the year, it's like, okay, he's playing, but how long will he be playing for and getting real minutes? Man, has he been a pleasant surprise, and not just on the floor, Jason, but it really seems that he has embraced not only the city of Sacramento, and you've been here long enough to know what that means to us fans, but also this team. And again, their 11-11 start. I think if it surprised anybody, it sure as heck wasn't Iman. He thought this team was going to be a lot better from the jump.
No, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. We worked out in LA this summer, and from day one in the summer working out, he said, "Look, we're going to be good. We're going to come out. We're going to play." He threw a number on it. I won't say what that was, but he, yeah. To answer your question, yes, he had high expectations going in. He knew that he was going to be a big part of this, and on the court, off the court, he is fun to be around. He loosens things up, especially for a younger group. But with that said, he holds you accountable, and he holds himself accountable. And it's something that you have to have in your locker room, especially from a veteran guy that's been around. Look, let's face it, he's seen a lot of different things in this league. So he knows there's going to be issues, there's going to be situations, and his voice does weigh heavily in the locker room. And you need that. You need that veteran voice who's seen a little bit of everything, that can stabilize situations. But then he also has the side of him that is really fun to be around. He goes nonstop in practice. He lets you know he's there, and the guys. Sometimes you just laugh, and sometimes that's what it takes. He's fun to be around. He's a great voice for us. He shows how hard he works. And the reason why he's playing this year is because of how hard he works, and Coach loves his work ethic, and then letting other guys see how he works.
Jason March with us, assistant coach with your Sacramento Kings. And Jason, I want to ask you a question about you. It's no secret I'm a huge fan of Coach Yeager and all of you in general. And as a guy who's followed this team from day one, I think this is the best staff we've had since, of course, Coach Rick Adelman. But you are still relatively young in this business, and you're going to be a head coach in the NBA most likely someday. When you're sitting next to Coach Yeager and Elston Turner and the other guys on a day-to-day basis, Dave is one of the best, I feel, at X's and O's, at plays out of timeouts, at just out-coaching. You can see him out-coach other guys. How are you growing? What are you trying to work on? And how great is it being able to sit next to Dave and just kind of try to suck up some of that strategy?
Yeah, I've been with Coach for a very long time now. I want to be with him for a very long time. As long as he'll have me around, I'm there. I learn something from him every day. He's unbelievable how well he sees the game. And then obviously you see the X's and O's. We're 9-3 in what the NBA calls clutch games, crunch games, when it's less than 5 points, 5 minutes to go. That's a guy who can draw up a play out of a timeout and beat you. And sometimes it does come down to that, as some people don't think so, but it does come down to how you can get a team to execute out of a timeout, and he does a great job, especially in close games. And that's the biggest thing that I try to take from him is just learning how to see the game better and what's going to happen, what the opposing team's trying to take away. And then just X's and O's, like you said. I mean, his mind is always going about what we can do better, how he can put guys in better positions to succeed, and I think that's any coach's job. You want to get the best out of your guys and put them in the right spots. And he is by far one of the best. I should say he is the best that I've been around and I've seen. And he's not the only coach I've been around. I've been around a few others, but he's the best at that, and hands down, very easily to see that. Like I said, in close games. So if there's one thing, it's just X's and O's, how he demands your best and puts you in spots. I think as any coach, like I said, that's what you want to try to get from guys. So that's what I try to take from him. on a daily basis. Just be that sponge and soak things up, just like a young player would a veteran guy.
Coach Jason March with us. Just a couple questions left in this segment. Jason, I am curious philosophically, and again, you guys have been together so long, I'm sure you all share a lot of the same philosophies. When a player is trying to get minutes in a game, and I'm not speaking of anybody specifically, how much to you is their performance in practice dictate those minutes in the real game versus whatever limited minutes they get on the floor out of 48? How much of an emphasis do you guys put on practice effort?
Well, first of all, I think it depends on your roster, first and foremost, because, you have different guys that you know are going to play. So it can be tougher for some guys no matter what they do. But, practice is huge for us, especially a young group. So every day we're trying to get better. We want maximum effort every day at practice. We had a speaker come in talking about giving a little bit more, always giving more. Don't take for granted where you're at. You made it. Don't stop just because you made it here. So we want to see the effort on the court. We want to see you diving on the floor for loose balls in practice. We want to see you making plays for your teammates. We want to see you finishing at the rim, being physical, taking the contact, making free, all those different things. Yes, it definitely, you pay attention to it. In meetings, we talk about it. We talk about, hey, this guy was really good today, this and that. So, but like I say, it does depend on your roster. There's going to be guys who are going to play, period, and there's going to be nights where you can get some other guys on the floor. And I think Coach does a great job of putting guys in the right spots and giving them the right times to succeed and trying to get the best out of them.
And then last thing for you then, just counting what you said or based on what you said, are there ever situations where you got to take a guy aside and say, hey, listen, we love your hustle, we love your effort in practice, but, geez, you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else, you got to slow down, or do you just turn a blind eye?
No, I think that's more of a summer thing because you never want guys to slow down or take it easy on him a little bit.
Sure.
Now, I will say, like a veteran guy like Costa, he knows, we don't want to go up and set a very hard screen on De'Aaron very often,
sure.
Nonstop in practice, because Costa can screen you, that's for sure. But, there guys know, they get it. Now, during the summer, you bring in some guys that are, trying to make a summer league team or trying to make your G League team or potentially a roster. Now, those guys will get after you a little bit more. And sometimes you may have to say, hold on now,
right.
take it easy, break away. We're not going to go in and try to lay a guy on his back in a summer pickup game. So there are those moments for sure that has happened. I've had to do it. I know other coaches have had to as well. But during the season, it's you get after each other. That's what makes you better in practice is competing and making guys play hard. There's days where you come into practice, you just don't have it. You're tired. Your legs aren't under you with the pace that we're playing. But we have guys that in practice they push the other guys, and I think that's what creates a great team and creates chemistry. Like I was talking about, when you have guys that aren't playing 30 minutes a night, 20 minutes a night, but they're still in practice pushing one another to get better, and that's something that has been built here and that I think Coach would say he's proud of, that in practice we get after it no matter what our record is, no matter what happened the game before, we get after it pretty good, and we're always going to take something out of practice.
Kings get on a plane today, going to the Valley of the Sun. Road trip starts in Phoenix tomorrow at 6 o'clock, pregame at 5:30 right here on Sports 1140 KHTK, and Jason March will be on the sideline along with Coach Yeager and Coach Gates and Coach Turner and the rest of that awesome, awesome staff. Always appreciate your time, my man. We'll have to raise a glass to Florida State women's soccer at some point when you get back, and have a great road trip.
Sounds good, man. Thank you guys for having me as always. It's good to talk to you.
All right, good to talk to you. That's Jason March joining us. Jason March, along with the rest of that staff, I'll say it as soon as he gets off the phone, that all deserve to be extended through next year. Please. Because I control the books. It's my money. We'll take a break. I love those guys. When we come back, hey, what's that? It's Kyle's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Coors Light. You got a few left?
Cold Hard Facts or Coors Light?
Cold Hard Facts. I hope you don't. I hope you're not drinking. You can save that for after 9 a.m., buddy. 9:01.
I have a slew, a bevy
of
Cold Hard Facts.
KCHF Kyle's cold hard facts.
Cha!
It's happening next. Sports.
That's the sound a Coors Light makes when you open it. Ka-cha.
That's a great sound effect. Can I record that? Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
actually have a beer back there? Go
Yeah.
ahead. 3, 2, 1.
Ka-cha.
Oh my God! Did you just pop a can?
No, it was me. That was
That
my
was
fault.
crazy. Right after this word from Firewing, Sports 1140 KHDK. Dun, dun, dun. Thanks to Jason March. I'll be leaving on a jet plane here pretty soon. Well, 4-game roadie for the Kings. Phoenix, Tuesday. Cleveland, Friday. Come on, Cleveland, Friday. God. Can you stop spreading the games out? I'm not saying play every day, but I'm getting tired. This is the second time now. They spread all the games out, and then you have one Friday and Saturday when we don't have a damn show. I need the games during the week so we can talk about them, and because everything sucks during the week. You have to work, you have to, do kids and blah, blah, blah. Am I like the only one in town that feels that way? Put all the games during the week. The weekend is when you have stuff. I went to Strikes on Saturday to go watch Skid Roses, the local hair band. Oh, yeah. They did all 80s and 90s. I mean, I'm talking Journey, Bon Jovi. They played.
Skid Roses.
Yeah, it's awesome. Dude, they played from 9 p.m., I think, until about 12:30.
PM. They played for
9 p.m. to 12. They played for like 3.5 hours with one break. And I don't know how the guy's voice lasted, but it did. And he was singing like, I think their last song was Man in the Box by Alice in Chains. Like, if you've never seen these guys, go see them. This isn't a paid plug. I just really enjoyed the show. Went with my wife and another couple. But I had to go late because I was watching the Kings and Pacers. And then I watched the end of the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, which I haven't talked about yet. We got to get to cold hard facts. What an ending to the fight. Wilder was losing pretty much every round, in my opinion. Knocked him down once. It was a legit knockdown, but just one of those down and up knockdowns. Other than that, he might not have won a round, at least for a lot of people. 12th round, Wilder knocks Fury dead. One of those knockouts where the guy goes flat on his back and doesn't move. And I've watched the replay, Kyle. He must have said something or winked at the referee, because normally when a fighter goes down that hard and doesn't move, referee doesn't screw around. He pulls out the mouthpiece, waves off the fight. That's it. He doesn't even count. And Fury went on his back and was motionless. And then at the count of 7, I think, pops up like Lazarus, gets up, and then comes back at Wilder, makes it through the final round. They called it a draw. I thought that was a garbage call. It was 2 undefeated heavyweight fighters. There's not a lot of great boxing left. That was a fun fight, especially the story of Fury coming back from drug addiction. He had ballooned up in weight. For him to, they could make a movie out of it.
and call it Fury.
Yeah, Wild Fury, the story of boxing guys, right?
Yeah, story of the boxing guys.
All right, what do you say we get to cold hard facts?
It's time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Fact of the Day. Here's Kyle Madson.
Cold hard facts of the day.
Brought to you by Ritz-Carlton Madison.
That's me.
That's you.
It's actually brought to you by Coors Light.
That is right. Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Kyle Madson, number 1.
The 49ers got trounced by the Seahawks yesterday. They were officially eliminated from playoff contention. That's a fact. The 49ers can no longer qualify for the 2018 postseason. I know we were holding out hope.
Did I read right that, isn't it both the Niners and Raiders got eliminated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, within like 20 minutes of each other.
Bay Area football. You know, Andrew Siciliano, who hosts the NFL Red Zone channel-y thing, along with the other guy who hosts the other Red Zone, he tweeted out, he was like, look at these citywide records. And he had the Giants and Jets, and he had the Raiders and Niners. So it was like, Bay Area sucks. New York sucks. He goes, LA teams are like 20-4 or something, whatever they are.
Cool.
And you know what? I responded to him, and I was like, yeah, well, why don't you put up Super Bowl championships?
Got him.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, got him. That's 8 for the Bay Area,
Boom.
by the way.
Yeah, what's up? Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Coors Light, number 2.
I have a few Niners ones just because I picked them up during the game and wanted to fit them into the show somehow.
Bias.
So, Nick Mullins set a 49ers record for passing yards in Seattle yesterday.
That's crazy. It really is.
He threw for 414 yards. Worth noting, 90% of them came in garbage time, and a lot of those came on like little dump-offs and
So
stuff.
what?
I just thought that was wild. JT O'Sullivan had the previous record with 321.
That's UC Davis Aggie,
It sure
JT
is.
O'Sullivan.
And UC Davis, shout out to them. They beat Northern Iowa
Yeah.
this weekend to advance in the FCS playoffs. So that was
Keep
pretty
going.
cool.
Go Ags.
Another bit from the Niner game. Rookie wide receiver Dante Pettis had 114 receiving yards. That's the most by 129 receiving
Yeah,
yards. That's the most by a 49ers pass catcher against the Seahawks since Vernon Davis in 2009. It's the most by a 49ers wide receiver against the Seahawks since Isaac Bruce in 2008.
okay, that's kind of crazy.
Just to show how much the Seahawks have kind of dominated that matchup.
That's actually, you know what, Dante Pettis has shown some pretty good signs, and that's what they wanted out of him. If Marquise Goodwin gets healthy, Pettis, George Kittle, I mean, I don't want to, but there's next year could be.
That's, I think,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is from Elias Sports Bureau. Pettis is the first 49ers rookie with 100 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in a game since Jimmy Thomas in 1969 ice against the Saints. Pettis is also the first 49ers rookie wide receiver with 100 receiving yards in a game since Terrell Owens in 1996.
Jeez, that's actually
Unreal, man.
It's
They suck at drafting wide receivers.
It's been a while.
It was like they got Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, and you're done.
Well, that's the thing. They got kind of spoiled. Let's go Joe Montana, Steve Young. Oh, even Jeff Garcia was great for a few years. Let's go Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens. Pray for rain.
Tom Brady only threw 1 touchdown yesterday, but it tied him with Peyton Manning atop the all-time list with 579.
But that's not the big Tom Brady story from yesterday. How about Tom Brady?
Oh, hey, shout out to Tom Brady.
TB1K, baby. He's over 1,000 yards for
Did you hear the Bill Belichick quote about that after somebody
no.
asked him about it after the game, and he's like, "Yeah, it's really important."
I think the best stat I saw is that it took Tom Brady, I don't know how many, but let's call it like 17,000 games to get to 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Took Eric Dickerson 8.
Yeah,
That's
took
all
Cam
right.
Newton like 23.
Did you see that Tom Brady, to end the game yesterday, kneeled forward and then went to the ref to point out that he kneeled forward so he wouldn't get shorted and be below 1,000 yards?
Awesome. The Chargers overcame a 16-point deficit. I feel like we just heard this before.
That's a good
The
stat,
Chargers
probably.
overcame a 16-point deficit to beat the Steelers 33-30. It's Pittsburgh's largest blown lead since 1981. It's the team's largest blown lead at home in team history. The Steelers, check this out, Dave. I don't know if you heard this. Prior to last night, all time at home with a 16-point lead, the Steelers were 174-0-1.
What?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. I know you probably hadn't heard that yet.
That is why I love this segment. Kyle's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Coors Light, because you've got stats I can't even imagine.
Weird game in New York yesterday. Akeem Hicks scored a touchdown for the Bears defensive lineman, Akeem Hicks.
Yeah.
Refrigerator Hicks, as they're calling him. Tariq Cohen threw a touchdown pass to rookie wide receiver Anthony Miller to tie the game late.
Did.
Odell Beckham Jr. caught a touchdown pass and threw one in that game.
Yep.
That's the second time he's done that this season.
It is.
He's the first player with multiple games in a season with a passing and receiving TD since Eddie Kaw and Benny Boynton.
Betty Boop.
Eddie Kaw and Benny Boynton, who each did so for the 1924 Buffalo Bisons.
Did you say Eddie? Eddie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's try that again. Odell Beckham Jr. is the first player, this is via Elias, is the first player with multiple games in a season with a passing TD and a receiving TD since Eddie and Benny Boynton.
I don't have a Boynton sound effect.
For the 1924 Buffalo Bisons.
Okay, Kyle, serious question. I'm being serious now, even though it's going to sound funny. No, I am, though. I don't know who the New York Football Giants play next, but whoever they play next. Would it be completely outlandish to say that if the Giants started Odell Beckham Jr. at quarterback, they could still win that game?
Yes.
I'm trying to ask, is Odell Beckham Jr.
It depends on who they play. If they're playing a bad team, find who they're playing. They could.
I'm just wondering how
would run a full blown option offense.
They're playing the Redskins.
No.
No?
Washington's defense too good.
I saw that.
If they played the 49ers, and surprise started Beckham, so the Niners couldn't game plan for it, and they just ran like a pistol offense, then maybe. But there's too many reads and too much that goes into being a quarterback that you could just go in and do it. Like
Okay,
no.
and I agree. But should Odell Beckham Jr., is there an idea that maybe he gets featured a little bit on certain plays, much like how
No.
Drew Brees and what's-his-face are?
No, I don't think so.
I saw that pass, man.
Yeah, but you see, Julian Edelman can throw it too. Kyle Juszczyk can throw it for the 49ers, but that's such a gimmick thing. They might use it to throw some teams off, have him go in motion or line him up in the backfield and make teams think about it, but they're not going to start featuring him throwing the ball.
All right, as we go to break, Kyle Madson from NinersWire.com saying Odell Beckham Jr. might be a better quarterback right now than Eli Manning. So tweet that out.
That's exactly what I said.
That's Kyle's cold, hard facts. Kyle Juszczyk had a cold, hard block on that was that Pettis touchdown?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Cold, hard facts brought to you by Coors Light. We'll come back with what's on tap next right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. That's a great point, Kyle. How have we not gotten a brewery up here to do an I Hate the Lakers ale?
Yeah, there's a brewery in Oregon that's doing an I Hate the Red Sox and I Hate the Patriots beer today in their tap room.
Why in what is the hatred from Oregon? Are they playing someone
I have no idea.
just happens to be just a random I Hate the... Okay. You make an I Hate the Lakers ale. That'd be huge.
Someone in town should do that.
What's on tap? Brought to you by...
Hating the Lakers.
Hating the Lakers. Hating the Lakers
It's going to take the rest of the show.
since birth. Let me lay out all the reasons why I hate the Lakers. Oh, speaking of, wait, what did you just say in my ear? Oh, yeah, you can't say that on the air, Kyle. That has bad words, and I wasn't aware that you hated the Lakers as much as I do. And speaking of hating the Lakers, let's start here. I can't. I'm sorry. It literally would take the entire show. We could do a whole show. Actually, we should do that right before the holidays. Why we hate the Lakers. Which reminds me, over the weekend, I always get mad when I see other teams. Oh, show's not over yet. Jeez, don't crumple it up.
Oh, this is my cold hard fact.
Oh, okay.
I'm done with these facts.
When I see
New facts.
fans of other teams that are in the background of the NBC Sports post-game show with Coase and James Hamm and the great Jerry Reynolds, and I always get so mad for no reason. I don't want to see any other team's colors on our post-game show. And then people are always like, what do you want us to do, punch them? No, I don't want any of that. What I would like is either A, people to go up there and box out early, right in the front row, all Kings gear, or B, I don't know. I know this is kind of cheap, but secretly, like, can we get NBC Sports California to do like a Kings real, what is their thing, authentic fan? Mm-hmm. Can we get like an authentic fan row that's cordoned off and it's the front row and it's only people with Kings gear and then everyone can do whatever?
That guy in that Pacers jersey.
So there was a guy in a Pacers jersey that was in the front and center, and he had this forlorn look on his face because they just lost by a point, and he stayed there the whole time in character. And I used that picture I took as an example of what I don't like. He was actually non-offensive because he looked so sad, but it turns out everybody but me knows this guy.
Yeah, it's Ben from Twitter. He's a manager at the Hat Club at the Sun Valley Mall in Concord, and that's the one I worked at.
So
he was my boss.
So you weren't lying when you said he was your boss once upon.
Yes. Like I see him when I go down there every couple of months. Yeah. And he's a big A's fan, very popular among the A's fan community.
Okay. It wasn't anything personal against him. It's against like Laker fans. Like, what's up? I'm a Laker fan. Look at my phone. It says Kings suck.
See, I thought it was great that even though they lost, he still did the bit.
Okay, so when your team loses and you want to look sad, I guess I could be okay with that. But whether your team wins or loses, if you're there in your gear looking all happy and pointing at your – no.
The fact remains, like, get in there and box somebody out one time. Now –
nope, you can't, Kyle. I got to step in. You can't say that because somebody will say. I always have to be super careful.
Sorry, that's
with
not what
this.
I meant. Sorry.
I know. It's not.
Form a line that does not allow people to peacefully go. Do not let fans of the other team peacefully walk up. No, wait, hang on.
No. I'm going to let you. I'm just dead back.
Let me walk my way through this.
Because
if a fan is peacefully there, let them stay.
Sure.
Kings fans should peacefully get to the barrier first. To
Barrier.
Make sure.
Oh, I thought you slurred Bay Area for a second. I
Get to me.
Kings, you guys have a barrier. What Kyle is
family
saying,
in the South says barrier. Oh, they're in the barrier.
What Kyle and I are both saying is that it's okay. It's okay to get there early.
Yes.
Never, ever,
Stay
ever
late.
do we want to use any form of physicality.
Don't touch anyone.
It's just a game.
Right.
I know that there are dumb people out there that will get on Twitter and be like, Kyle and Dave said.
No, don't touch anyone.
Don't touch anyone. Just get there early.
Right.
Play fair.
It's first come, first serve.
Yes.
And if the other team's fans all get there first, they did it.
That's on you.
Kings fans should be the ones to arrive first.
What do you think about our guy John Wilson, who they brought?
Love Johnny Dubs.
They brought him on the pregame show. They did a little satellite hit with him so he could explain to Coz, Ham, and JR what drip meant.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they didn't have any idea. I didn't
Johnny
either,
Wilson,
turns out.
John Wilson is a tremendous human.
I thought,
fan.
Well, what can we get on John? What about the authentic Kings fan row? Just make it easy.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on this show. I don't think I have.
Oh, God. Here we go. Go ahead.
I used to work at NBC Sports.
I'm the GOAT. All right, go ahead.
So I have some ins there.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean,
I'll hit them up. I'll be like, hey, I know you guys can't, but you should.
let me help. Maybe we could just send them this segment. So, dear NBC Sports California.
Good start.
First off, let me just say thank you for your phenomenal coverage.
Really good coverage.
Though I am always listening on Sports 1140 KHTK, right. I DVR the games, and then I go back and I watch the video version.
Film study.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I want to say that I enjoy your pre, half, and post-game shows, and I think you do a wonderful job. Not just John Wilson, but guys like Mike Bird and all the guys behind the scenes that we never hear about that work so hard.
And, of course, Coz,
JR, Jerry Reynolds,
right.
and James Ham. Not Katie Christensen yet, but soon to be. Katie's like the whole DeMarcus Cousins with the Warriors thing where it's a great pre-half and post-game show, but she hasn't even been a part of it yet. Wait till they add her in. They're probably going to win a championship. May I suggest the following that would work both for me, Kings fans, and you? How about an authentic Kings fan row reserved for the best, loudest, jersiest wearing, signiest. Well, maybe the signs have to be in the back because then nobody can see. You see what I'm saying? Okay. You can hang them over the. There you go. The ones that are dressed, costume, whatever it is. Two things. Number one, it looks better. Number two, and here's why they should do it.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and spend a couple of bucks and build a couple of barriers that have the authentic fan and the logos on them. And now you're getting extra signage.
Yes.
And also additional reads.
Yes.
Because Coz can say, and behind us in the Sacramento Kings authentic fan row.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's it. You know what? I said signs earlier.
Yeah.
Forget that. Hand them authentic fan cards.
Yes.
And let them hang out there.
If you want to sell that row to an advertiser, I'm sure that would be fine too.
Absolutely.
Or you could take the branding on your own. Guys, it's a business idea and it's also the right thing to do.
It is, I don't think I'm overstepping my bounds saying this. It is a smorgasbord of opportunity.
Really is. So, John, I know you make all the decisions there.
Yeah, John Wilson is the guy. He is actually Mr. NBC.
In minutes, how much time do we have left?
1
minute?
A little over 1. When the music hits, you have 60 seconds.
So, do we have a minute 40 left?
No.
Damn it. All right, I'll play just a part of this here real quick because I like what this says about fathers and sons, and you'll recognize the voice.
Last year, there was only a tiny sense of time left, of sand running through the glass. I want to put this aging on hold for a while now. I don't expect to be on the A team anymore, but I want to play golf with you, and I want to fish or throw shoes, and I want to rejoice in your victories, and I want to be there for you if you get a bad bounce in life, and no doubt you will, for the seas do indeed get rough. When I say be there, I mean in the game, in the lineup, viscerally involved in your lives, even though I might be miles away. If I shed tears easier now, try not to laugh at me, because I'll lose more saline, and that makes me feel like a sissy. And besides, it's okay to cry if you're a man, a happy man, me.
That is President George Bush, who passed away over the weekend, talking about aging and being involved. It kind of hit home, and I wish all of you a phenomenal rest of your day. For Kyle, Madson, all our guests, Eunice, and everybody else involved, Jim Rome is next. Enjoy the rest of your broadcast day right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. Bye now.
Sports 1140 KHTK.